So if they're going home with millions and millions of naira, why do they think the average Nigerian should go home with 30k? Why? If you look out your window, you might see banners and people marching in numbers. That is the NLC effects, and it is spreading very fast. I'm curious, what is the situation like in your area? Do you see any signs of protests brewing? Are people joining the protest? Sometimes last week I told you about how the Nigerian Labour Congress is ready to hit the streets. Genge. Well, day has been set and other bodies have actually decided to join in this walk towards calling the government's attention to the current economic crisis and living conditions in Nigeria. Yesterday, some NLC representatives gathered in several cities in Nigeria to remind the public about this nationwide protest. Here is a video of the representatives of various civil society organizations in Osogbo this morning. In Plateau, the State Council of the NLC said it had concluded arrangements to join the protest. Now, the NLC are not the only ones who are championing these protests. Civil society organizations in Edo State have also stormed the streets of Benin City. The members of the CSOs carried various placards such as End Economic Hardship, Federal Government, End Hunger in Nigeria Now, amongst many other things to state their grievances. And I'm happy to see it. It is time for us to go to the streets and say, hello, government, waiting they happen. The NLC for months has been going in and out of meetings with the federal government over this issue of minimum wage. I've talked about this time and time again on the Scoop. I have told you guys that it seems as if there has not been a middle ground between the Nigerian government and the NLC, and something has to be done. Now, we know the current cost of living. We know what they're asking because minimum wage is still 30,000 naira. We know that they're asking the federal government to make it 200k, which I ask you guys, do you think that's enough? Comment down below. Do you think 200k is enough for a minimum living wage? And will the federal government actually do the right thing? We know how much money this federal government and the people who are making the laws are going home with. So if they are going home with millions and millions of naira, why do they think the average Nigerian should go home with 30k? Why? They can't live on 30,000 naira. So why do they think that legally it's okay for the law to state a Nigerian can be paid that? Make it make sense. As it seems right now, some Nigerians believe that the NLC though are puppets in the hands of the government and that they are only concerned about their welfare of their members. And this has been a constant battle between Nigerian citizens and NLC. They have always felt that the NLC does not know how to advocate for the citizens and that they are easily swayed and cajoled to do things that they are not supposed to do. Now, I don't really grasp this idea or ideology that bodies or that the NLC has been taken over by the federal government. It doesn't make any sense to me because at the end of the day, members of the NLC are suffering as well, right? An ex-user posted this and said, to be honest, Nigerians shouldn't need labor unions to lead them on protests at this time. When hunger gets serious, people will find their way out like soldier ants. This is what you guys have to realize. It's not that people are not interested in protesting. We all know what happened when NSAS happened. NSAS took away the appetite for protest in Nigeria, and because we did not get the results we needed, people no longer think that protesting is effective. Essentially, there was a time with NSAS where maybe it felt like we were going to get something good out of it, but the end results, what happened? People died. We were gaslit. People were blamed for causing chaos and havoc in the country with the looting and the vandalism. NSAS protesters were blamed for that. So I don't see any situation where you're going to find a lot of people who are going to be interested in going out to protest. It's not that people aren't hungry. It's that people don't trust the government to protect them even during the protest. People don't trust that the protest will not be sabotaged by miscreants. That's the reason why people are not protesting. But let me know your comments and let me know how you guys feel. Are you interested in protesting? Do you think protesting is effective? In addition, there are several bodies who are ready to step out. However, what about the everyday Nigerian who is not associated with these bodies? Is that something that's going to happen? Will there be a protest? Because the protests that are being pushed out right now, it just seems as if you have to be part of the body. But I do remember that during Occupy Nigeria, the NLC was the one that led the protest and Nigerians joined. So I don't really think that's something to hold people back. When it comes down to it, at the end of the day, just because the NLC is the one organizing the protest doesn't mean that Nigerians can't join. I think the real question to ask ourselves is if Nigerians believe and think that protests will be effective in our country, and what role will protesting play towards getting the results that we want? That is the question that people are asking. That is the thing that people do not know, because we all know, again, like I said earlier, how NSAS started, how NSAS ended. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality of Nigeria. It doesn't feel like sometimes when you stick your neck out for this country, there's a reward. But that's just my own opinion. Let me know your thoughts. Why aren't youth going out to protest? What do you think is preventing them from doing so? Why is it only the NLC that's actually calling and organizing for a protest? Now, we all know how the Nigerian government feels about protesting. We all know. and they have a lot to say about this. So you got to click on the next video to find out what their response has been.